USA Warrior Stories is a not-for-profit organization designed to record, archive, and share videos of veterans' stories, to help veterans make a connection with one another and to help us all better understand their sacrifices for our freedoms.
I'm Sean Timberlake. I live in Vero Beach, southwest Vero Beach. I was a Marine brat, so we traveled. I was born in Japan. My father was a Marine and he was a Vietnam vet. And I have other siblings that also went in the service. My older brother went to be a Marine. I went Army. My younger brother went Navy on a sub. I graduated in 1991, and I went into the Army when I was 20 in 1993. And I decided, it took 5 times, because they kept saying cook or mechanic, and I'm like, I don't want to be either one of those. And on the last time I went, they said, well, we don't have cook or mechanic. I'm like, well, what do you got? And he goes, Cav Scout. And I was like, what's a Cav Scout? So he showed me a video.
Since the dawn of modern warfare, battlefield commanders have relied upon their most agile warriors to keep their eyes on the target, engage the enemy, and know the enemy's every move. With the readiness to accept a challenge and stay sharp in the face of danger, Cavalry Scout soldiers are force multipliers and play a vital role in military operations.
I was like, that'd be pretty cool. Then I asked, well, on my records it shows airborne qualified. What does that mean? He goes, you want to jump onto planes? I'm like, sure, why not? I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky for the armor. I went to Cav Scout school there, and then we did training on Bradley fighting vehicles, and then I ended up going to jump school after that in Fort Benning, and that was fun. I had 30 altogether. I had a C-47 jump for Sergeant Major's jump, fun jump, they said. Then they have the C-141, C-130, and C-17. I did one jump out of the C-17. And that was an experience I'll never forget. So it's like you can stand out on the platform and not feel a thing. Step off, you're gone. So it's a interesting jump out of that one. When I was at Fort Bragg in 1994, I went to Operation Uphold Democracy in Haiti. We were only there for 30 days, but it seemed like forever. The place was not a nice place. A lot of different MOSs. I had 4 MOSs. I have a Cav Scout, military police, combat engineer, and transportation in my 22 years of active and reserve time. So I'd go to as many reserve schools while I was in to get more training and more leadership schools to learn about being a better leader and stuff like that. So I couldn't do the same job the whole thing for 20 plus years. I had to do something different. And when it came, I had a 5-year break in service in between combat engineer and military police. That's when I lost my brother, my older brother, in a motorcycle accident. So I felt like I was missing something, and it was him. But in 2018, I finally got discharged, and then I was deciding, at that time, I was getting help with counseling and my primary care, and they suggested getting a dog to help me with my issues, and I was like, sure. I've never had a dog personally myself as an adult, so I didn't know how it would be, but I was willing to try it out and see how it went. I got to the point when I was doing them, I was like, I can't do this. I gotta be truthful, because I mean, I sought counseling before I was getting any idea of a dog, and it just got to a point where they said the dog they feel will be more beneficial for you, and I went with what they said. I believed, and it was true. The VA is my primary care physician up there in which one? Up in White River Junction. I would see a professional up there in Vermont, and they looked for the dogs or a place, and then they suggested I come down here. I went and drove all the way down here to Canine for Warriors and got put together with Judy, my dog, and she trained with me for a couple of weeks. We didn't have to worry about lodging or food. Everything was all given to us, and all we worried about was getting that public access experience and working together. And right now she's 6 years old. I got her when she was 1. And time flies. I mean, I can't believe she's 6 already. So she was at Canine for Warriors near St. Augustine. It's a off the beaten path. It's a nice place. I enjoyed it very much. The VA found the facility and suggested I go there, and I did a paperwork where I filled out about myself, and then they pieced me with another dog, with a dog that they think would be compatible, and it was Judy. But what happened was they had her on the other side of the building, and I was on the other side. Well, they let her loose, and she comes all the way around, running at me, ears are flopping, and I was like, that's my dog. I know it's my dog right there. So I'm glad I got her. You know. We did kind of task work with Canine for Warriors. We did, and it helped going out in public and stuff, getting on public transit, you know, vans, buses, knowing where to put her in under the seat for easier, better transportation. Well, the only work I had was my work on myself, really, because I didn't have any training. She had all the training. I had to go through training myself with Canine for Warriors to get to the point of being good to go. And it took a while, but I mean, when I first got her, everything seemed like everything was going great, you know. I was told that every year you would have to be recertified, and in order to do that, you could take videos of, or have someone videotape me with my dog doing tasks and stuff, and then you submit the video to them, and then they say, here, you're certified, and they send you a card. Well, at the time that I was down here, that's when COVID hit, and they weren't doing testing up there in for Canine for Warriors, and I figured I got to find another place. And I just live 10 to 15 minutes down the street from here, you know, Dogs for Life. And the first 6 months I had to recertify, and then the next 6 months I certified again. But then after that it was annual. But I come here every Friday for classes, or any other day that I might be needed for helping out, to help myself learn new stuff or even keep up with the old stuff, along with Judy, my dog. So that way we stay up on top of things and don't lose anything that we've learned. I came down to Vero because my parents moved down a year before, and I wanted to come down to help them for medical reasons. They were sick or needed my assistance, and I was like, I'm coming down. So I ended up coming down in Vero and bought a place of my own. After getting out of the military, I lost my identity. I lost a lot in my life, and I still had my parents at the time. But when I lost them recently, it hit me hard, like anybody, I'm sure it would. But I had her to help me keep going. You know, without her, I don't know where I'd be today. It's tough when you're out in public and you have a vest on the dog and it says do not touch or do not pet. And people will come up and they'll pet the dog, and then they'll realize, oh, it says do not pet. So there's nothing you can do about it, really, you know, other than saying, you know, oh, well, you know, as long as they're not doing anything to your dog, I guess they shouldn't really be touching. And then a lot of people tell me, or I hear them in the surrounding while I'm walking in the store, they'll tell their kids, don't go up to that dog, don't touch that dog, leave that dog alone, and all that stuff. That dog's there to help him. And some kids go, what's wrong with him? I'd want to turn around and say, some issues are invisible. You can't see all issues. Of course, I use her as a tool also for mobility and to keep people somewhat away from me. Because when I first realized that I don't like people on top of me, like in line for groceries, and like you can feel them breathing down your neck, like I just use her as a guiding tool to help, put a buffer up and make me feel a little better. The VA suggests doing it, and they helped find Judy, the facility for me, but it stops at one point to where you go to the facility that has like Canine Warriors, or here, if they have a dog, that's where it begins with just you and your dog, and you pretty much don't have much of a relationship with the VA with your dog. Dogs for Life has helped with having insurance, Trupanion, for their dogs in the program, and it's helped me out quite a bit with any medical issues that she's had. Trupanion's an insurance policy for your service dog. Well, they offer plenty of space for separate areas for different sized dogs, because not all dogs get along. So you keep the big ones with the big ones, little ones with the little ones. Now we have the mall where we go for public access, and also recertification, where you make sure the dog is compatible and able to do its job, know its tasks, and actually do them. And it's every first Friday they have the public access, where there's sometimes 2 to 3, sometimes 5 people that need to be recertified. You get the new people that have recertification, and it's only for 6 months, and then you got to wait another 6 months to get recertified again. And then they wait a year, and then they'll be recertified again annually. Certification is more like proof that the dog is trained. So in case something happens, it proves that she was certified and stuff. Technically, you don't need a vest. You don't need your little card. You can have your dog. You walk into the store, but without that vest, without that ID, some people might give you a hard time about it, because they're like, well, where's the vest? All service dogs have vests. They don't have to have vests, though. No, she does a really good job going out in restaurants, under the table, and stays by herself and stuff. And advice, I would say, and I always tell people, if you have issues, PTSD, mobility, talk to your counselor, talk to your PCP, get them to get the ball rolling, because that's the only way I know how to get the ball rolling, is to have them start the ball rolling, because they helped me out a lot. I mean, I would have been waiting a long time for her if I tried it on my own, I think. I would say try for the PAWS program. That's a new program out from the VA that they're trying for 5 years to see how veterans are with the program of allowing them to be around service dogs, handling the service dogs, to see how it feels and stuff, and see if they're interested in it. And they're trying to see if this program will work, but they're giving you 5 years to get all this work done, to get these people in the program, to see how it works out. No, I think that getting away from the stigma of trying to seek help when you need it, and like some programs, like even in the military, they ask you, how are you doing, in these questionnaires and stuff, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, everything's peachy keen, everything's great. And it's not. And people don't want that stigma of, oh, something's wrong with you, because it'll affect their career. So it does. I'm sure it happens even with law enforcement or first responders. There's a stigma, and that's the problem. They got to get past that, so people are not, committing suicide, and have a way to get help. Without that help, they're just going to keep dying. I've always had my father that I always looked to for advice for everything, and he's always had good advice. And unfortunately, I lost him in August, so to ALS from Agent Orange and all that stuff. So that kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. But having her has helped me to just stay on the right path. I think what I think is beneficial is being able to get out of the house, being able to have a purpose. Even civilians need dogs. There's a lot of people out there that don't realize it, or they haven't gotten to the point where introducing a dog would help them. But I tell people, just look for help. Ask the VA. Ask them, like, I need a dog, or what do you think about a dog? Should I get one? Stuff like that. And just be ready, because sometimes it takes a long time. It'll take a year, maybe. No, it's worth it. I think it's worth it.